Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, we're gonna be working with a 1956 Ford Thunderbird. This thing is so cool. It was recently acquired from an estate sale through one of our existing clients for K&J Design and Auto Works. They basically brought it to us to get it running, give it a thorough once over, and see what else it needs, and we'll basically just go from there. But this car came out of New York. It's a one-owner car with supposedly 50-some-odd thousand original miles. This is not something that you come across very often nowadays. I mean, it's just in spectacular condition. And being from New York, it does have some rust in the rockers and the rear quarters, but nothing that you can't get and nothing that's too hard to fix. So I'll be giving you guys, a good look over the car because there are a lot of really cool features with it. But of course, the first thing we need to do is try to get this thing fired up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Before I pop the hood, let me show you guys the interior right quick. This car's original color is known as Colonial White, and the interior is a very nice two-tone complement. We've got white and black, and this really pretty decorative engine-turned aluminum trim going across the doors and the dashboard. The entire dashboard is wrapped in soft padded material with stitching, and there's an extra piece of padding over on the passenger side that was part of an optional safety group. But this car is very, very well equipped. It has pretty much every option offered at the time, including power windows and a power adjusting seat. So you can slide this seat forward and adjust the height, which is really, really cool. Underneath the dash to the right of the steering column is the hood release lever. Just simply grab and pull. There's a lot of things to like about these cars, but one of my favorite things is the hood, which I'll have my friend Mikey go ahead and demonstrate. The hinges are forward, so the hood doesn't open like a conventional hood, which is really, really neat because everything in the engine bay is so easily accessible. In 1956, the Thunderbird was offered with 3 powertrain options. If you had the standard conventional drive manual transmission, the car came with a 292 cubic inch V8 that put out 202 horsepower. That motor had an 8.4 to 1 compression ratio. Above that was the 312 cubic inch Thunderbird Special V8. And depending on which transmission that you went with, you actually got a little bit more power. So with the manual transmission that had an overdrive function, you had 215 horsepower and an 8.4 to 1 compression ratio. However, this car being a Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission actually got 225 horsepower with a higher 9 to 1 compression ratio. So like I said, this car is very, very well equipped. It even has the factory optional power brakes. We've got the Ford Master Guide power steering system. So this is very neat to see. And here's another fun fact for you. In '56, the Thunderbird switched from a 6-volt electrical system to a 12-volt. I picked up this battery tester from Top Dawn a little while back, which has been very helpful around the shop with all of the different projects, just checking the condition of the various batteries we have on hand, and this one wouldn't even register, unfortunately. So we're gonna go ahead and swap this battery out. It's a weird battery size, but thankfully I was able to run down to my local O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up the right size, so we'll go ahead and pull off this retaining ring, swap it out, and see if the car powers on. Now the question is whether we have power or not. Oh yeah, we have power. Check out that little dash courtesy light. So these first generation Thunderbirds are really small, and I would not consider myself a tall person. I'm like 5'10", but even I have had to find a special way of climbing in this thing so I don't destroy my legs on this big old steering wheel. So the best way I have found for me is to hop in, bring my legs underneath the steering wheel, and that's pretty much it. All right, let's turn the power on and see what happens. We've got the generator light on. Sounds like a little bit of feedback coming from that speaker. The clock's not working, but not really surprised about that. What? I can't believe that radio still works. I would like to play it, but I don't want YouTube to get mad at me, but that is really, really awesome. Next thing I'm curious about is this horn. That's awesome. That's so 50s. Passenger window rolls down and up, and so does the driver's window. Does the power seat work? Yes, it does. Forward, backward, and up, and down. Wow. The blower motor works too. I like that little V8 emblem right there. It's a nice little touch. This car was sitting quite a while, so if we get it running, I definitely want to do a full service on it, but it is full of fluid. Got plenty of oil, plenty of transmission fluid. So I'm gonna try to roll this thing over and see what happens. Moment of truth. Nothing. I just went back to O'Reilly Auto Parts and picked up a new starter and a new starter solenoid just in case, but there's one little quirk about these cars that I forgot about, so before we start taking stuff apart, let's try one more thing. It actually says in the Thunderbird owner's manual that on Ford-O-Matic equipped models, there's a safety feature that prevents starting the motor unless the gear selector is in neutral. So I had it in park a second ago. Let's put it in neutral and give it a go. Fingers crossed. Whoa! It actually turns over. No way. This just got way easier. I decided to go ahead and check the condition of the gas tank before I put gas in it, and I'm glad I did. The gas cap was missing, and even though they drained the gas out, looking down inside, it's pretty rusty in there, so there may not have been gas in it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's just rust particles and corrosion just falling off the walls of the filler neck. But once you get down inside, the tank's all pitted and stuff, so it definitely got moisture inside, probably because it didn't have a gas cap on, but you know, it is an old tank, so you never know. So I think better be safe than sorry. I think we're just gonna have to replace this gas tank. So before leaving the shop yesterday, I tried one more thing, hooked up my spark tester, and there was no spark. So I decided to just let it be until my buddy Joe showed up to the shop this morning, because he's got a lot more experience with some of the old school stuff. Like, I personally have not really messed with points and condenser systems, which, like I said, this car is still really original, so it still has that system. So far, we've cleaned the points and condenser. We also went ahead and replaced the ignition coil, and that's pretty much where we're at. All right. One more? Sure. Perfect. Ready? Yep. Yep. It wants to. Nothing. See if we can help it out a little bit more.
Keep it going, because I might have put a little much in and started to flood.
Okay. Again?
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Again? Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Again? Think it ran out of fuel.
So we've got a bit of a list of things we're gonna have to do to this to be able to actually get it running, but we're gonna try it one more time, see if we can bottle feed it. Oh my gosh, so close. Let's try it one more time. Oh my gosh. One more. I think that's probably good enough right there. Oh yeah, that exhaust is crusty. I wasn't even thinking. It would probably run better and start up a little easier if I unhooked my spark tester from earlier. So let's run it on 8 cylinders now instead of 7. Oh man, this is awesome. Wow. And that's about it for the gas. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. At this point, the car is going to need a fuel system overhaul. We're probably going to go ahead and order a new tank kit and look into getting the original carburetor rebuilt. I'll keep you guys up to date on when to expect the next piece of content on this thing. This is awesome. I love working on stuff like this. It's hard to get much more iconic than a first generation Thunderbird. If you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so, because of course there's always a lot more where that came from. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.